Welcome back to Frederick Advice Givers, episode 182. I am Eric Verdi, and to my right this week is Dallas Kincaid with ExecuNet.
Yes.
Is that how I say it?
You got it. You're on it.
Not XUNet, not...
Well,
so what have you been called? Not personally, your company.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was like, how long do we have? XUNet, we get that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We get, it's fun to spell it because everyone always wants to add that E in there.
Right.
We're like, no, E. XUNet, that's usually the biggest one, which I don't really understand how that works. They're just skipping that E and C, I guess.
And then you were telling me a funny story, even though I hate your first name.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely hate it, because I'm a Redskin fan.
Oh.
So,
yeah, all right, well,
Dallas Cowboys. So people have a hard time.
That's a great way to start this off. I hate your name. All
so
right,
people have a hard time spelling Dallas, you said, in the pre-interview.
Yeah, D-A-L-A-S. I get that.
Right.
D-A-L-I-S.
Okay.
I mean, they're probably all Redskins fans.
Yeah,
that's probably what it is.
They
just can't do it.
They don't know how to spell Dallas, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so Dallas, before we get into the meat of the interview, tell us about yourself, where did you grow up, your backstory.
I grew up in, I was born in California.
Okay.
Grew up in Maine. Grew up in a little town of 312 people.
Oh, wow.
Everybody kind of knows your business. Grew up on a farm, on a horse farm. And my family, we raised horses, and I spent a lot of my youth running through fields and haying and doing stuff, milking cows and things like that.
Warm bloods, thoroughbreds, what kind of horses?
Arabians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I grew up on a thoroughbred farm.
Yeah, so we did a lot of showing and went to horse shows, and which was great for picking up girls. So it was a fantastic thing as a teen to be going to all these horse shows and meeting women. So
I know you're being serious now. You're not being sarcastic on this one.
I'm being dead serious.
I
that was the only reason why I was into the horses. So I was like, I love horses. Yeah. So it was a fun youth.
And then...
Kept me out of trouble, for sure.
Cool. And then schooling, married, kids?
I got a fiance.
Okay, awesome.
And that just happened here a couple of months ago. I figured it was probably... I'm not getting any skinnier, and my hair's getting thinner, so it's time, And but yeah, she's a great girl. She's from Detroit, so city girl.
Okay.
So whenever I take her up to Maine, she's always like, "Well, what did you do here?" I'm like, "You're looking at it." But yeah, so I live in Frederick. I came to Frederick probably about 20 years ago, 22 years ago. No, longer than that. 25 years now. And I came here. I worked in radio and television. Okay. I came down here for a job working in radio. I was a music director and a nighttime wacky air personality.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up in this area. So, and then, I got out of radio. I was just like, man, I really love Frederick. It kind of it has that, not quite 312 people, but it has that small rural feel to it. But you're still 45 minutes away from the city. You can go down to D.C., go to Baltimore. And so that was kind of exciting. And I just, that was really... Frederick is what really got me out of radio. I was like, I don't want to move around anymore. I'm like, this is where I really want. Yeah,
it's really a cool town.
Yeah, I love it here.
I mean, we're the second biggest city in Maryland, but yet it feels homey, and you feel like you know most everybody. It's
changing though. I mean, it is definitely rapidly changing.
It's rapidly changing with all this development and growth, which I am totally against. But I don't think we're stopping that anytime soon.
And, it's kind of like you look at it and it's like, I really want the growth. It's good for business,
right?
But at the same time, I really don't want those condos behind my house, so it's like
and all that farmland's getting built upon.
Where my house is, I had cows behind my house. I was like, oh, this is like home, like Maine,
right.
And now they're going to build townhouses there, so it's a little bit of a bummer, but I get it. When you have a great thing, people want to come.
Exactly. So what do you do? What's ExecuNet?
What is I was like, what do you do? I was like, I don't know. I get up in the morning and ExecuNet. We are what is ExecuNet? We're a technology company.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm kind of like, what are we? Is that technology changes rapidly. I mean, can I tell you what we did?
Absolutely.
And what kind of the trajectory of the company? So when we first started it, I got out of, kind of to give you my backstory, I got out of radio and I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I mean, because really, after you get out of radio and broadcasting, it's like, what skills do you really have? You're not really,
You can talk.
Yeah, I talk, and it's hard to find. I mean, good for you. It's hard to find a living with that,
right.
To do that, So I was, I ended up. I worked as a nightclub DJ for a while, which was great. But then you kind of realize, there's not a lot of 50-year-old nightclub DJs, and it's an all cash business. You don't really have a 401k, and so I'm like, trying to figure out what am I going to do, and I ended up getting a part-time job working at a small internet company here in town.
Okay.
And I did that for a year, started Execunet because the guy was allegedly an alcoholic, and he kind of would just shut off all of his customers, do crazy things. And this is how I learned. I learned about computers, is that this guy would go on a drunken rage and shut off all his customers, and then I'd have to figure out how to fix it. So after about, I know you're like, wow, yeah.
That's crazy.
So after a year about doing this, and you got to remember, this is like pre-Google. It's not like I could just get on Google and be like, how do I fix this? You literally had to figure it out. So after about a year of that, I started Execunet, and Execunet really, we started off as just providing dial-up access.
Okay.
Like, so this is back in the 20 years ago. And
you and AOL.
Yes, yeah, that was
You were-
really
you were
honestly
two
that was
competitors.
They were really honestly they were like our competitor. Yeah,
And now he
for
owns
sure.
the Capitals and Wizards, and you're sitting here interviewing with me.
Yeah, with people that can't spell my name.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, so so we started off as a dial-up, provider, and then looking through the years, I mean, it's like obviously dial-up's gone away,
Right.
But through we became a DSL provider. We actually provided DSL service before Verizon even did in this market. And then the big thing that we really happened upon is we started building data centers. So we have a couple data centers here that we have in Frederick, still a large portion of our business, but think biometric security, you go into a lobby, you have to go through a man trap, all of that stuff, and it's high availability, high security, and people put their servers in our facility and we manage it.
Okay.
Or manage the facility for them, really, essentially. So that way they don't have to have a server sitting in their office. Maybe they have medical records or credit cards, but things that just need to be secure. And we're generators, we have the whole thing. So we've acquired 13 companies through the years. We talked a little bit about that pre-interview, and we used to have an office in Nashville, and we had an office in Orlando for a long time. And but those were dial-up companies. The whole idea was always really just to take all of that and merge that into our operations. It took way longer than I wanted, and I ended up flying every week, going from Orlando to Nashville to Maryland, going to those offices.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it was really horrible. Yeah, so we've done the 13 acquisitions of all these other companies, and we really now at this point we're a national company. We're an international company. We have customers that are overseas that have stuff in our data center. But where I'm kind of going with this is that we've really had to make that change from being a dial-up provider, owning data centers. We do voice over IP. We started doing the voice over IP because we had these other offices. We had to connect them for telephony. It was cheaper to get manpower down in Tennessee, so we could have call centers. And so all of these pieces have kind of come together, and then along the way we acquired another company that we do manufacturing. We do cable assembly.
Okay.
So we'll make cables for like sorting systems and for like missile cables and things like that. We'll make a cable that's $700. So that's very mil spec connectors on it. So we do a lot of different things. That's why when you said what do we do? It's like, well, we do a lot, but the key thing is that we've really had to transition because the technology is just changing so much.
So let me ask you this. Who's your customer? Who's hiring you, or who are you partnering with? So who's hiring you?
It really runs the gamut. We have customers that are still doing dial-up. Believe it or not, we still have a lot of dial-up customers. And we'll have somebody that has a simple website, but then we'll go, one of our customers is the Florida Virtual School. Which is all the K through 12 online schooling for every student in Florida has to use this online component, and we host all of their infrastructure in our data center.
Okay.
So really, it's the full. For about 12 years, the state of Hawaii was one of our customers. So we really run the full gamut of individual person that's paying us $5 a month to somebody that's paying us $20,000, $30,000 a month. So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take this back to a more personal level.
Okay.
What is the last purchase that you splurged on for yourself or your family?
Easy answer. I bought a dive watch. I'm an avid scuba diver.
Okay.
And I bought a fancy dive watch because I have a trip coming up in a month to Egypt, and I'm going diving in the Red Sea.
Okay.
For a week.
Okay. Let's go down here. So where have you dove? What?
all over.
Or where haven't you know? What's Egypt? What's on your bucket list then? Let's take it that way.
Probably like Truck Lagoon, some of those
Where
places.
the heck is that? Truck Lagoon.
It's I really like diving wrecks. So
Okay.
diving, like World War II wrecks. That's like a
Awesome.
big thing in the Red Sea, is that there's a lot of wrecks there. And in Truck Lagoon, there was a lot of Japanese freighters and things that were sunk in World War II, but everything is intact. So like you can literally go dive them, and there's tanks in there, and there's missile or bombs and
Are these
guns.
organized dives with like guides or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it's great. I have a crew of friends
Mm-hmm.
that it's not a cheap hobby, I'll tell you that. And but I have a crew of friends that are just fantastic, and we just say, hey, we're going to go here, and we pick this place to go, and we organize it and just go on these trips. So
you go on a week vacation, 2-week vacation? How many times do you dive during that vacation?
during like this trip to Egypt, I'll dive 5-6 times a day. So probably
Really?
it's like a job, really,
Okay.
to be honest with you. By the end of the week, you're like, man, I'm kind of tired. It's like every single dive is about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you're doing 5-6 hours, of diving a day, it's pretty tiring.
It's exhausting.
Oh yeah, you're in bed by 9 o'clock. It's
Right.
not like we're all having a party. It's like you're in bed at 9. You're wake up at 5 and start diving again. But it's amazing. I mean, it's just a whole different world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love doing it.
That's awesome. All right, so I guess this kind of answers the next question. What hobby or interest can you spend hours doing?
Scuba diving?
Yeah, okay, great. Scuba diving. All right, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get into the meat of the interview. Dallas, Dallas, when you wake up in the morning, being a business owner, entrepreneur, what's that drive inside of you? What's your why?
Gosh, it's funny you say that, because I just had a staff meeting, and actually one of the things that I'm trying to rally the troops, and it was like we don't, unfortunately, because we're a 24/7 business, it's really hard to get everybody in the room at the same time, and so I decided we really need to get together, just kind of do a hey, go team, and I really, that was one of the things I said. I've been in business for 20 years now, and there's really I love what I do. I really do.
Right.
It's like I love being able to come up with solutions for businesses and really be able to add to their company and see success. Like we've had some customers of ours that have literally grown from like a one-man shop, one computer, one server, and they've sold their business. I'm thinking of one specifically that literally we were with them from the beginning to the end. When they sold their business for $33 million. Wow. And we were involved every step of the way, helping them build and it was a technology company, building them from that single server to selling it for $33 million. So it feels really good. I mean, I wish I could have had that, $33 million.
Right.
But at the same time, it feels great just being part of, that success and knowing that we help that person, get to where they are. So that's really what the thrill of it all is for me. I've always been kind of a IT geek, even when I was a kid. My mom got me into going to Apple II computer classes and learning how to program, and then I stopped doing anything with it for a long time, and I was always drawn to it. So I guess I'm just a dork. I'm just like,
Hey, if you love what you do, that's great.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't define me, but I love doing it.
Right. So what? You've had executive for 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
Right.
We're in our 20th year now. It's 20 years in August.
Okay. So what piece of advice and or shortcut could you give somebody just starting out in business?
There's no shortcuts. There's none.
The
biggest thing that I see is that I think a lot of people expect, and I don't want to, I feel like such an old dude when I say this, but it's like this whole millennial thing, it's like, I just want this. I want this.
Right.
I went to school for a year. I deserve to get paid $140,000. That's just not how it works. I mean, you really, the people that are successful have worked very hard to get to where they are, and you just don't get it just by kind of dilly-dallying through life. See how it worked, Dallas?
I like that.
Yeah. Anyways, so I think that that's really hard work and not really having. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't expect to be compensated,
Mm-hmm.
but that shouldn't be your driving force. Is the compensation. Your driving force should be really the success of whatever you're trying to accomplish. I'm a big believer. If you work hard, you do the best job you can, have good ethics, the compensation will come.
Right.
And a lot of people don't do that. I mean, they just oh, I need this, I want this, it's just, and I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and I've had money and I've had no money and I've had money. I mean, obviously having money is a little bit more fun, especially when you like to scuba dive, but life is really about hills and valleys, and you really can't appreciate the view from the hill and the mountain if you haven't been through the valley. And a lot of people don't want to experience that. So the people that are successful usually have a lot of valleys they can tell you about, to really appreciate the hills.
Well, and also, to follow up on that, I was reading a book or something. It's like called the Mount Everest syndrome or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
No.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I'm aware of Mount Everest.
Right, you've heard of Mount Everest. So, like when you're climbing the mountain,
yeah,
you go through the valley, you get to the peak, and you can only see that first peak.
Yeah.
Okay, you get there and you think you've accomplished something, but you haven't, because then you look and see that next valley and that next peak, and that's where a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs fall short. Is they don't appreciate the lows that go with the highs. I think they're always shooting for that Mount Everest, and they don't understand they have to go peaks and valleys, 20 peaks and valleys to get to where they want to go.
It's not only just about with business; it's with life.
Exactly.
I mean, life is the same way. It's full of you have ups and you have downs, and unless you have those downs, you're never going to appreciate the ups.
Exactly.
So I think that people just really kind of going back to what you said. I was thinking about success, because after 20 years, I think people automatically just assume that you're successful, and I really don't know. If you said, "Are you successful?" I'd be like, "No." And I think that if you look at most people that probably are successful, they have that same attitude, because once you think you're a success, you've stopped trying,
right?
Really, so you need to always have another goal, or this is what I really want to accomplish.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So Dallas, on the flip side of that question, what is a learning experience or a piece of advice that somebody gave you that didn't work out like they said it would?
I think there's everybody always says, "Oh, read these books, Tony Robbins or whatever. You read this book." And it's like, there's no book out there that you're going to read that's going to give you this. If I could write the book that had the magic secret to success, I'd be a bestseller, and I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be sitting on a dive boat someplace, diving continuously. So it's I think people take a lot. You have to write your own book. And it doesn't mean that there isn't successful pieces, but you have to look at all of these different pieces and build your own book, because everyone has a different path to success. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. In the last 3 years, Dallas, what's one choice that you've made to lead you to where you are today?
I got up. I don't know. Geez, that's such a tough question, and I don't even know if I have an answer for it, to be honest with you. Like I said, it's just there's not one.
No pivotal moment in the last 3 years?
I have two business partners, right? And it's having partners is it's like having the worst marriage possible.
I'm sure they'll love to hear that.
Yeah. But let me finish. So it's there's a secret sauce that comes there. So whatever it is, maybe we don't always get along or we have different ideas. There's a secret sauce that somehow works with the three of us that makes us successful. So there's not just one thing. It's just the secret sauce. It's being able to pivot when the time's right. There just really hasn't been a single decision that's got me to where it was. And if there was, I think that would be a problem, because we'd be going back to being that not viewing what really success really is. There just isn't one thing that happens.
Gotcha. All right, so I have sat across the microphone from 181 other entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers. I learn, and I meet new people, and you're hilarious. I learn something about myself or life or business through every interview and asking questions. We met 18 minutes ago. I want to flip the script and have you ask me a question. Can be personal, business, whatever you want to do.
I could ask you that stupid question about, would you rather fight one big duck, or what is that what is that question about, would you rather fight 100 ducks or one giant duck, or does that make sense?
So I would probably take
I probably said this very, very wrong, but yeah, you get the idea.
So I would probably take the one big duck.
Yeah.
The one, he's with the feathers, the beak, and the and as opposed to, well,
I have stumped the host.
So,
with the dumbest question ever.
I think business-wise, I'll answer this two different ways.
Okay.
I think business-wise, I would do. Actually, I'm gonna flip my answer. Business and personal. I would fight the little ducks because with each victory, you learn and gain more knowledge. And I always look at, because my brain's always on for business.
Yeah.
Even when I'm coaching my kids' soccer field, on the soccer field, I'm thinking of how I can relate it to business, or how I can relate.
Were you start a sweatshop, or?
Well, more people and how to interact with people.
Yeah.
I can take what I've learned in business and life and relate that back to coaching a 12-year-old soccer player.
Yep.
And how to relate to them, and how I have 12 different or 18 different personalities with 12-year-olds, and how you have to talk to each person different, just like you have to talk to each employee different, or each client, client different. Each client. Last night's a perfect example. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I had.
Now I want you to.
No, I'm not going to. But I had a client that I just had blew my mind with how they reacted to a situation that came in front of them, and I just had to calm down, take it in, and answer in the manner that I knew would get the desired result I had to get.
It's tough
to keep everybody happy.
Yeah.
So I think the 100 little ducks, and learning and growing with each defeating each small duck.
See,
where the hell did you come up with that question?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just because I think it's a funny question, and
I've never heard it before.
You haven't?
No.
Oh yeah. So I would take it a different direction with that.
Okay, let me hear your answer.
Yeah. So my answer to that would be, I grew up on a farm, and we had geese, and duck bills and geese bills are pretty similar. They don't have teeth.
Right.
Okay, but there's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
So if you have 100 little ducks, like, kind of doing this, it's not going to hurt. You have that one duck biting you, it's going to hurt. So I would go with the 100, and I tried to befriend them. That would be my move. I'd be like, "Hi, ducks, let's be friends."
Okay. That could be a deep question.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be your book right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be on a dive boat just asking people, one big duck or 100 little ducks.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do this in Egypt.
You should.
Maybe we'll have a follow-up interview, and I'll read the responses.
I would love it.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You think I'm kidding? I'm really gonna. There's not a lot to do in between diving, so yeah, this will be
great.
fun. Yeah.
All right, Dallas. So what is a failure or loss? And this can be personal. This can be business. What's a failure or loss that's helped mold or helped shape the person that you are today?
See, we talked very briefly before my mother passed away on Easter morning, and I owe a lot to her, really a lot to my mom and my dad for my work ethic, hard work. They definitely utilized me to clean stalls at a young age. And that's a lot of work, haying fields.
I've mucked plenty of stalls in my day.
Yeah. And these kids, man, these kids now, I sound like an old guy again. These kids, they don't know what it's like. Mucking stables in minus 10 degree weather. But anyways, they just really instilled a good work ethic in me, and losing her, I think, kind of made me really reevaluate a lot of things. It was a rough month. It was a rough month professionally, and dealing with growing a company. That's the hardest part. It's really easy starting a company. Mm-hmm. It's growing it and scaling it, especially. It's not like we're doing plumbing. I mean, the plumbing technology has really been the same for hundreds of years. It's the same concept. Right. We change so rapidly, and it's the skill sets and the people, and specifically even with IT, a lot of times you're dealing. I'm very much a creative type of person. A lot of times you're dealing with more analytical people. Right. So that's always a struggle, trying to really mold how you're managing people. I'm not really answering the question, but I'm kind of dancing around it. But yeah, I think just my mother really gave me my sense of humor, gave me my work ethic. So I think that tragedy really helped me evaluate a lot of the things, a lot of my core feelings and beliefs and what's important to me. It's had a lot of time to think about it over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, losing somebody
it's tough.
that close to you is no matter.
And it was very unexpected, and and it was like my worst fear. They're up in Maine, so it's like I get that call at 3:30 in the morning. It's like it was like the whole first 2 days is just numb. So. Why are we taking this down? Come on.
So where do you see yourself in 3 years, Dallas, and then in 10 years?
Gosh, see, that question's harder than the duck question. I really.
Well, you asked me the duck question.
Yeah, well, ask me that question. That's easier. I don't know. It's. I definitely. One of the things I said in my staff meeting, my rah-rah meeting, was that I know that the people that I have around me. We have some great employees. I mean, I was averaging out the employees that work for us, and the average employees worked for us for 14 years, which is amazing. To have somebody that's that loyal.
So you're not building to get bought out by somebody or acquired.
Well, are you offering? I mean,
Well, I guess if the 33
shut
million
off the camera. Let's make this happen. No, I mean,
if you've acquired companies, there has to be a longer term strategy here. If you've acquired 13 companies,
what would I do?
Well, you'd dive. And you'd be a consultant or on the board.
I don't know. I kind of enjoy what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, that's not to say if somebody wants to come and offer me, $33 million or something that I would say yes, but I don't see that happening, at least today. And I really don't know what I would do. I really don't. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I talked about it. It's like, of course everyone has a bad day at work. And I'm sick of this. I'm going to retire and go buy a house in the Bahamas or something. But I really do. I really do enjoy what I do. I mean, I really do. So I'll probably still be doing this unless something dramatic changes in my life. So.
Okay. So congratulations on the upcoming wedding.
Thanks.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Your life's going to change. and you might be selling your company sooner than you think once that happens.
No. She's a great girl, and she's very, very driven, has a very, very good work ethic. She's actually way more successful than me. She is a director of observational medicine for a pretty large company. So she's worked very, very hard to get to where she is. So she understands the pressures of business. Sometimes it's difficult because she'll be traveling, I'll be doing stuff with work, and we don't get to see each other, but she's great.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So Dallas, how would our listeners, viewers get a hold of you, find out more about you, all that kind of fun stuff?
Dallas at AOL. No, just kidding. So you can obviously go to our website, www.xecu.net. You can also you can email us at sales, and that's sales@xec. I feel like I have to spell this stuff because someone will be like, is that SALES? Yeah, E. Anyways, so sales@execu.net. Website obviously is the best place to go to see what we do and who we are. Or you can call us 301-682-9972.
Awesome. Listeners, viewers, I hope you enjoyed the banter with Dallas as much as I did. That's episode 182 of Frederick Advice Givers, and we are out.